Hi, today we're going to look at predictive analytics using the Syncfusion Big Data Platform. Now, predictive analytics is not anything new. It's been done for several decades using traditional tools such as SAS or R, open source R environment. And the idea is that you take data and you have past outcomes, and you use it to train a general model with parameters that are going to replicate the outcomes for future sets of data, basically. So if you were looking to predict a certain outcome given, say, customers' behavior on the website, how much time did they spend on a particular page, or what kind of links did they click on, and then you had a recorded outcome of what they actually did, how much they purchased, and then you can use that to build a model and then come up with a model that will predict the outcome on future interaction with similar customers, basically. So this has been done for quite some time. Now with the big data platform, this becomes a little unique because as more and more data is available, you have a need to train these models on much larger sets of data. And that's where a platform that is big data enabled, that has a cluster, is going to come in handy. So instead of being limited to the resources of one machine, you can store data on HDFS, and it can be a huge amount of data that you store on HDFS, and then you can train a model on that huge amount of data, basically. Now, there are, I'm sure, several methods to arrive at this, but Apache Mahout has been one that's been around for quite some time. But MapReduce has some inherent issues with modeling as far as machine learning is concerned. The nature of machine learning is that it calls for a number of iterations over data, and MapReduce is not ideal for that. Now, with the arrival of Spark, it actually makes machine learning very practical on the Hadoop stack, basically. And so the Syncfusion Big Data Platform comes with complete support for machine learning on using Apache Spark. So just a quick slide that might help to kind of present the solution that we have. With the Big Data Platform, we allow you to kind of model using Spark. You can also use Hadoop MapReduce model if needed for your purposes, but the typical way to do this would be to use Spark. And then once you have a model, you can persist the model. So we have this open predictive model markup language that we can allow persistence to, and that is built into Spark and for several models. So once we have that model, then Syncfusion provides a runtime interpreter, which is completely devoid of any linkage with Spark, basically. So, and in fact, the same interpreter would work with data that is output by R or other environments, other similar environments. So this is something that you can read about on our website. We have this product called Predictive Analytics, Essential Predictive Analytics, and it's a part of the Big Data Platform as well. So once you have that, then you can interpret the results at runtime without any dependence on the environment that was used to produce the model. So let's take a look at a quick sample in the Syncfusion Big Data Studio. So here I'm running Big Data Studio. I'm connected to a cluster that I have locally. And you can see here we have several mlib samples. These are all machine learning samples, and we have several others as well. So I'm just going to point to one that we have for a very simple linear regression, basically. So linear regression, we have data that's loaded from this file that we have on the cluster, and then we do a split. Part of the data will be used to train the model, and the other part will be used to test the model. So and then this is the actual model algorithm that we use, and then once we do that, then we can run it on and run it on the test algorithm and do predictions. We can also persist the model at this point. If we are satisfied with the outcome of the model, then we can persist it, and at that point it is devoid of any link with Spark, and it can be deployed. So I'm just going to let this execute, and it'll come back in a few seconds. It's not really a huge amount of data, basically. I also have on the Syncfusion Big Data dashboard, let me go to the dashboard real quick, And we can see WPF samples, Windows Forms, MVC, and web samples, and so forth. So any .NET environment, you can actually deploy these models. So I have the WPF sample browser running here, and this is a list of samples that we ship with the environment. I'm just going to look at the linear regression sample here that we ship. And you can see that it has a way to browse and look at the actual data. Let me actually go to the linear regression model. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is the linear regression model that we have. This is the persisted version of that model. And you can see all the weights that are used and so forth available here. And this is the actual Scala code that was used to train the model. It's the same code that we saw earlier, basically. And this is the actual code that is used to consume that within the .NET application. So I have, I'm loading the PMML file, and I'm loading the data, and then it's a lot of just regular code that loops through and does the prediction for each of those values, basically based on the model that was provided. So this is actually the code here. So let's just take a quick look at that sample, run it, and take a quick look at it. Just going to give it a few seconds to compile. So this is the target value, and it's actually derived from several of these fields that are on the right side, basically. So that's really just a quick run through of how this is done using the Syncfusion Big Data Platform. As usual, if you have any questions, let us know, and we'll be happy to address them through the DirectRack support system. Thanks.